Have you ever wondered why some incredibly smart people make bewildering financial blunders, while others with seemingly average intellect build fortunes? It's a question that often stumps us, especially when we're taught that money is all about cold, hard numbers and logical decisions. But what if I told you that our financial lives are far less about rationality and far more about something deeply human? Something shaped by our personal histories, our emotions, and even pure chance. That's precisely the groundbreaking insight at the heart of Morgan Housel's phenomenal book, The Psychology of Money. Forget what you think you know about spreadsheets and sophisticated algorithms. This book isn't about what to do with your money. It's about why we do what we do with it, and the often invisible forces that dictate our financial triumphs and failures. We all walk around with a unique financial worldview, a lens forged by our upbringing, the economic climate we grew up in, and the specific lessons or traumas we experienced. Someone who lived through the Great Depression will inherently view debt and savings differently than someone who came of age during the dot-com boom. It's not about intelligence, it's about context. And here's where most traditional financial advice misses the mark. It assumes a universal, rational actor, when in reality, we're all a beautiful mess of biases and personal narratives. We're going to dive deep into why financial success isn't simply a matter of IQ or even education. We'll explore the often overlooked, yet profoundly impactful roles that luck and risk play in our financial journeys, challenging the myth that wealth is solely a product of hard work and smart choices. This isn't just about making you richer, it's about making you wiser about wealth, greed, and ultimately happiness. And speaking of happiness, one of the biggest misconceptions about money is how it actually contributes to our well-being, which brings us to our first crucial lesson: the undeniable power of personal history. So while luck and risk certainly play their roles, there's a foundational principle that truly separates the consistently wealthy from the rest, and it's far more powerful than any stock tip or market prediction. We're talking about the power of compounding. This isn't just a fancy financial term. It's arguably wealth's greatest engine, a force that transforms tiny, consistent efforts into absolutely massive returns over time. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it's small, barely picking up any snow. But as it gathers momentum, it grows exponentially, each new layer of snow making it even bigger, allowing it to collect even more snow, faster. That's exactly how compounding works with your money. Small, consistent investments, given enough time, don't just add up. They multiply on themselves, with your earnings starting to earn more earnings. Most people tend to focus on finding the next big win, the quick flip, but the real magic happens in the slow, steady accumulation. This is why patience isn't just a virtue in finance, it's a non-negotiable requirement for long-term gains. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history, is a living testament to this. A staggering 99% of his net worth was accumulated after his 50th birthday. He wasn't some overnight sensation. He started investing early, consistently, and patiently let the power of compounding do its work for decades. Imagine that. Almost his entire multi-billion-dollar fortune built on the back of relentless, incremental growth. His story isn't about being the smartest or making the riskiest bets. It's about the incredible, almost unbelievable returns that consistent effort and immense patience can generate. But here's the thing about patience and compounding. It requires a fundamental shift in how we think about money, one that often clashes with our innate psychological biases. And that brings us directly to a fascinating paradox many people face when trying to build wealth. Now, while understanding how the world truly works is vital, there's another equally powerful force at play in our financial lives, and it's far more internal: the dangerous dance of never enough. This brings us to a crucial, often overlooked skill: knowing when to simply stop. Imagine trying to win a game where the finish line keeps moving further away, just as you're about to reach it. That's what life feels like for many, perpetually chasing more. Morgan Housel illustrates this beautifully with what he calls the man-in-the-car paradox. You might admire a stranger driving a fancy sports car, thinking how happy they must be. But here's the kicker: that person probably isn't thinking about you at all. They're likely comparing themselves to someone with an even nicer car or a bigger house. This endless comparison is a losing game, a treadmill of desire that leaves you feeling perpetually behind no matter how far you've come. It's a guaranteed path to discontent, because there will always be someone with more. The real danger here is when this relentless pursuit of more leads us to risk what we already have. We see it constantly. People who've accumulated significant wealth, but then gamble it all on a high-stakes, speculative venture, convinced they can get even richer, even faster. They risk comfort, security, and peace of mind for an extra percentage point of return. The tragedy is, often they didn't need to. They already had enough to live a wonderful life. But the siren song of more proved too strong. So, how do we break free from this cycle and find true contentment? We'll explore that next, as we dive into the often misunderstood connection between money and happiness. Now, if that doesn't make you reconsider what you're chasing, let's talk about something even more profound, the true definition of wealth. Most people instinctively think of fancy cars, big houses, and designer clothes when they picture wealth. But Morgan Housel makes a powerful argument that true wealth isn't about accumulating things, it's about accumulating control over your time. Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning and having the genuine option to do whatever you want, not because you're retired, but because your financial independence gives you that flexibility. That, he argues, is the ultimate luxury. This isn't just some feel-good platitude, it's a fundamental shift in perspective. Saving, for instance, isn't just about stashing money away for a rainy day. It's about buying future flexibility. Every dollar you save is a tiny soldier fighting for your freedom, giving you options you wouldn't otherwise have. It's the ability to say no to a demanding boss, to take a sabbatical, or to pivot careers without financial catastrophe looming over your head. Here's what most people miss. The happiness that comes from independence, from owning your time, far outweighs the fleeting joy of a new gadget or a bigger house. Those things often come with strings attached, more debt, more maintenance, more stress. Instead, the book encourages us to accumulate wealth not for bragging rights, but for future security, for the freedom it provides. It's about building a financial moat around your life so that unexpected waves don't capsize your boat. And speaking of unexpected waves, our next section dives deep into the crucial yet often overlooked role of risk and luck in our financial journeys. You'll be surprised how much of your success, and indeed your failures, might not be entirely your own doing. While understanding the power of compounding is essential, it's only half the battle. To truly harness it, you need a healthy dose of optimism, and this brings us to a crucial lesson in the psychology of money, the price of optimism. Think about it. Long-term investing fundamentally rests on the belief that the future will, on average, be better than the past. We're betting on innovation, on human problem-solving, on the relentless march of progress. Pessimism, on the other hand, sounds incredibly intelligent. It's easy to point out all the things that could go wrong. The recessions, the market crashes, the geopolitical turmoil. And when you do, people often nod in agreement, thinking you're insightful. But here's the stark reality. Pessimism, while sounding smart, consistently loses money in the long run. The market's entire history is a testament to the fact that growth isn't a straight line, but it trends upward because human ingenuity, our drive to create and improve, is an unstoppable force. We consistently underestimate our collective ability to adapt and innovate, which is precisely why the stock market has consistently climbed over decades, despite countless crises. Now, this isn't to say you should ignore risk or blindly throw money into every hot stock. We absolutely must prepare for downturns, for those inevitable moments when the market feels like it's falling apart. That's where your emergency fund and diversified portfolio come in, but the key is to prepare for them, not tumber by tumber them. You stay invested, understanding that the temporary pain is the price you pay for long-term prosperity. Because while the market will undoubtedly challenge your resolve, the optimist who stays the course almost always wins. But what about when optimism turns into something far more dangerous? We're about to explore the slippery slope where belief becomes a delusion. Now, understanding these unpredictable forces brings us to a crucial concept, often overlooked in our pursuit of financial goals: the room for error. Think of it like this. When engineers build a bridge, they don't design it to hold exactly the maximum expected weight. They add a significant buffer, a margin of safety, because they know the real world is messy. Loads might be heavier, materials might have unseen flaws, and weather can be brutal. In your financial life, this margin is your most powerful defense against the inevitable curveballs. Unexpected job losses, sudden medical emergencies, a car breaking down. These aren't just possibilities, they're certainties that will manifest in some form throughout your life. Rigid plans that assume perfect conditions are fragile. They shatter at the first sign of trouble. Instead, cultivate flexibility. This means not just having an emergency fund, but also avoiding commitments that stretch you to your absolute limit. It means not just investing, but diversifying so no single investment can sink your entire ship. We saw this play out dramatically in 2008, where many who were over-leveraged lost everything, while those with a healthy margin of safety were able to weather the storm and even capitalize on opportunities. Trying to optimize every last dollar to run your finances with zero slack is a recipe for stress and eventual failure. It's like driving a car with an empty fuel tank, hoping you'll make it to the next station. True resilience comes from having that extra bit of cash, that extra bit of time, that extra bit of emotional bandwidth. This margin isn't wasted. It's an investment in your peace of mind and your long-term survival. But how do we truly cultivate this financial resilience in a world that constantly encourages us to spend and consume? That's what we'll explore next as we tie all these ideas together into actionable steps for building a happier, wealthier life. So, we've journeyed through the unpredictable landscape of money, from the subtle biases that steer our decisions to the profound impact of luck and long-term thinking. But as we reach the end of our exploration, there's one crucial takeaway that ties it all together. A lesson that Morgan Housel emphasizes above all else. You have to play your own game. What does that mean exactly? It means defining financial success on your own terms. Forget the flashy Instagram posts or the neighbor's new car. Is your goal to retire by 40? Or is it to have enough flexibility to pursue a passion project, even if it means working longer? Your definition might be a quiet sense of security, or it might be the freedom to travel the world. The moment you stop comparing your journey to others is the moment you truly begin. And part of playing your own game is understanding your unique risk tolerance. Some thrive on the thrill of aggressive investments, while others sleep better knowing their money is in safer, albeit slower, havens. There's no right or wrong answer here, only what's right for you. Trying to fit into someone else's risk profile is a recipe for anxiety and regret. Ultimately, the psychology of money isn't about complex formulas or market predictions. It's about focusing on what you can control, your behavior, your expectations, and your time horizon. Because when all is said and done, the greatest value money can offer isn't more money. It's happiness, peace of mind, and the freedom to live life on your terms. That earlier hook about the true payoff of understanding money? It's this. The ability to craft a financial life that genuinely serves casted, not some arbitrary external benchmark. If this deep dive resonated with you, and you're ready to redefine your relationship with money, you'll find a link to Morgan Housel's brilliant book in the description below. Dive in and start playing your own game. If you found this valuable, the resources and product I mentioned are linked in the description below.